Peace, peace, peace. Bless up, bless up, bless up. It's your little bro, Prince Jehovih coming on real quick just to share some love and light with the fam. Bam. Peace to the creative gang in the building. You already know what it is. Had to come on live this morning real quick just for a little bit. Hold on, let me turn this background music down a little bit. Yo. Bless up, bless up, bless up. It's your little bro, Prince Jehovih. What's going on with the fam bear? If everybody can hear me, drop a one in the chat if you can hear your little brother, man. I just want to come on this morning, this beautiful Saturday morning, man, and share some love and light. Coming from this Kosmon Bible Oaspi, book of inspiration, and the book of the book of the Creator's Kingdom on Earth. So let me see. Just want to tap in with the fam real quick, just to talk about how to hear the voice of the Creator. A lot of people out here talking about, I heard God say this, or I heard this person say this angel spoke to me and told me this to tell you, or I had a dream or a vision, or all kind of stuff people say they hear from spirit. And it behooves us, to learn how to discern what's really coming from the Creator, because it's very simply understood coming from this Kosmon Bible Oaspi, which is why I wanted to come on and just read a little bit today and see what's good with the fam. Can y'all hear me? Hold on 1 second. Make sure the fam can still hear me, man. If y'all can hear me, drop a one in the chat. Let me send a little post in the chat, man. Salute to the fam. Yeah. Creator gang, man. We just chilling on the day. A little chop session on the voice of the Creator, how to hear the voice of the Creator, how he speaks to men and women and angels, right? How he inspires us directly to our souls, man. It's a beautiful read we're going to get into this morning. If y'all should be patient with your brother, we're going to jump into this. A lot of people ain't really on the Oaspi Bible yet either. You know what I'm saying? The Creator game, we've been rocking with it for a while, really deep diving in it, chewing it up. You know what I'm saying? Eating all the good meat out of it, spitting the bones out, whatever. That's how you got to take everything that you read. You got to weigh the information and study it, make sure it's right and exact. So, but a lot of people ain't on it. A lot of people think it's written by a white man, dentist, and, they ain't take no time to study nothing. They just talking crazy about a book they ain't read. But over here, man, over this way, we like to actually open up the text and read it for ourselves. So, and see if we see anything in it that sounds evil or that shows itself to be wicked in any way. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we do over this way. Peace, love, and light in the name of the ever-present Great Spirit, man, as we continue to study. May he be the light to our understanding, illuminating our souls to the highest light that we can. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's jump into this real quick. Let me get on over here. Share the live out, y'all. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. You dig? We just trying to help, reveal the Creator's ever presence in all places and just help other people do good for one another. That's all. Let me see. Here we go. All right, let's jump into this real quick. I've been in here 7 minutes, just letting people try to, get in, climb in. Man, ain't that many people coming in, so I'm just gonna jump into it. All right, y'all can drop some comments in the chats if y'all hear me or whatever. But if not, I'm just gonna go ahead and rock. Yeah. Let's go ahead and rock. All right. OISP, Book of Jehovah's Kingdom on Earth, chapter 21 of the voice of Jehovah. Of the voice of Jehovah. So this is dealing with how to hear the Creator's voice. This is the first part we're gonna run through. It says, verse 1. This is the sermon of the voice, as delivered in Shalom, to such as were admitted on trial, to wit. Jaja say, my voice is with all men, saith Creator. Whoso is admonished against wrongdoing hath heard me. By that he know my presence. So off top, in the very first two verses, or first three verses, we hear that the Creator's voice is number one with all men and women and children. All of his creation, his voice is there with all of it, all of us. And then in verse 3, he clarifies even higher, saying that whoever is admonished against wrongdoing has already heard me, right? And by that, he knows my presence. So if you ever had an inclination in your heart or in your mind or in your spirit or your soul against wrongdoing, you know what I'm saying, against oppression, you know, against slavery or against any type of violence, right? You already heard Jaja's voice. And you know by that, that his presence is right there with you. The man of, verse 4 says, the man of Uz crieth out in mockery. Uz means the world's people. So the man of Uz is the man of the world, the world's a worldly, carnal-minded person. They cry out in mockery, and they say, who has heard Jehovah? Right? Do the faithful say they've heard the Creator's voice? How can empty space speak? That's the question coming from the Uzians of the world's people, right? And I really wish I could put this up on the screen. You already know I don't have my laptop, I'm on my phone. So you can't really follow along. You're going to have to just listen to what I'm saying. Unless you got your OISP in your hand, you can open it up. If you got the big blue version, I'm on page 731. The Book of Jehovah's Kingdom on Earth, chapter 21 of the voice of Jehovah, right? And we have verse 5. We have verse 4. The man of Uz, or the man of the world, the world's people, they cry out in mockery against the voice and say, who's heard Jehovah? Do the faithful say they've heard the Creator's voice? How can empty space speak? But Creator say, I am sufficient unto all my creations. The ant hears me, and the bee, ooh-wee, the bird and the spider, all manner of living things which I created. So the Creator speaks to all things, and his voice goes out to all the living which he created. He said, how think ye they hear me, learning to do my will? How you think they hear me? Go I to them with lips and tongue, or with a trumpet? You Hebrews, Israelites out here, and Christians talking about the trumpet, the Creator gonna come with a trumpet and rapture you. No. He said, my voice don't come like that. Do I go to the birds with tongue and lip and trumpet? No, he said, I am spirit. I am spirit. I am the soul of things. By way of the soul is my voice unto every living creature that I created. So Jaja speaks directly to your soul. Directly. That's cold right there. That's beautiful. But what happens though? Man locketh up his soul and will not hear me. He heeded that which cometh upon his corporeal senses, and his darkness groweth upon him generation after generation. Then he crieth out, where is Jehovah? Who hath heard him? Perhaps the ancients, but none in this day. Right? So the wicked man locketh up his soul against the creator, or man in general, right? But, specifically the Uzians, the world's men of the world, women of the world, they lock up their soul against the voice of the creator. Just like a baby or a little kid putting his fingers in their ears, talking about la, 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 I can't hear you. That's how foolish it looks. Indeed. Because the creator's voice can't be stopped for real, but that's how they feel. So they lock up their soul against the voice of the creator, and they heed to the worldly things, to the corporeal senses more than to the spiritual things. And this darkness goeth upon mankind generation after generation. Then he cries out at some point, where is the creator? Where is Jehovah? Who has heard him? Perhaps the ancients have heard, right? But none in this day. The truth is, creator ain't stopped speaking. We'll get more into that as I continue. Verse 11 says, Jehovah said, I am as one on top of a mountain, calling to all people to come up to me. But they hearken to darkness at the foot of the mountain, calling them down in corpor, right? Or physicality, worldly things, earthbound things. Verse 12 says, now, behold, whatsoever thou hearest or seest or readest, or any indulgence that raises thee upward, the same is my voice unto thee. Oh, snaps. Now we dealing with the creator's voice, how to hear the creator's voice. And Owaski makes it very clear and simple here when dealing with this very subject. He said, whatever that you hear, whatever that you see, whatever you read, or any indulgence that raises you up, the same is my voice unto thee. Woo! That's crystal clear. If you get an understanding on that, man, drop a one in the chat for the understanding coming from the creator. He said anything that you hear, see, indulgence, that you read, right? If it's lifting you upward, my G, that's coming from me, saith Jehovah, right? That's beautiful. That's simple. We ain't gotta thumb through a million texts of prophets to try to figure out what. Nah, Jaja say, man, whatever it is, it's lifting you up. It's coming from me. Easy work. Easy work. Salute to the Selah Shalom, my big brother in the building. Gang in this thing, created gang. It's your little brother, Prince Judavon. I just want to hop on and deal with this idea of the voice of Jehovah and how we can discern his inspiration coming from the OSB Bible. So we jumped into the first section I'm dealing with is the book of Jehovah's Kingdom, chapter 21 of the voice of Jehovah's Kingdom. Salute to my brother Fritz Foxwell in the building. Created gang in this thing, man. It's all family, it's all love, united in harmony with the creator's light. All right, so yeah, Jehovah said, one way to discern my voice upon all things or upon you is if it's anything that's lifting you up, right? And he said, but whatsoever thou hearest or seest or readest that casteth thee downward is the voice of darkness. And whoso studieth to know the right shall hear me. Whoso striveth to be all truth, to be a real one, to keep it real with yourself, keep it real with your brothers and be real, keep it real and be all truth to himself and to others, already hears my voice. So you keeping it solid, standing on truth, standing 10 toes on, with creator, you already hear his voice. It's simple. You know what I'm saying? Anything that's lifting you up is coming from Jaja. Anything that's pulling you down, I don't care if it's coming from a woman, if it's coming from a man, if it's coming from a boss, You know what I'm saying? If they hear tearing you down, that's coming from the voice of darkness. But when you hear your brother say, hey, man, keep your head to the sky, brother. Jaja got you, man. Stay strong in this thing. Keep your heart, you know. All that's coming from the Creator's inspiration. It may be indirect from your brother or sister, but, you know, we're going to get to that point too. Hold on, let me keep going because we're going to get to the book of inspiration in a second. All right, so we have verse, I'm going to read 14 again. Book of Jehovah's Kingdom on Earth, chapter 21 of the voice of Jehovah, verse 14. Whoso studieth to know the right shall hear me, not might hear me, shall hear me. If you're studying to do good to your brothers, to know what's really, really real and what's right, you're going to hear Jaja. Whoso striveth to be all truth to himself and to others, already heareth my voice. Whoso indulgeth in anger or vengeance, right? Or in wrongdoing, casteth a veil up betwixt me and himself. He shutteth out my voice. So when you're talking about one dealing in anger, indulging in anger and vengeance, that sounds like the God of the Hebrews and the biblical God. Ain't he a angry God? Ain't he a vengeful God? He said, vengeance is mine, right? That's putting up a veil, right, between the Creator and himself. That God of the Bible, just on a FGK point, on a false God killer point, he put up a veil between him and the Creator by becoming angry and vengeful and allowing for wrongdoing, like sacrificing the Jaja's created beings, the animals, right? And not only that, but even babies were slaughtered by under the commandment of that false deity biblically, right? That biblical God. He put up a veil between himself and the Creator and shutted out the Creator's voice. Check this out, though. Shout out to the faithful. Shout out to the true sons and daughters of the Great Spirit. Salute to the righteous gods and Nirvanian goddesses, man, in the name of the ever-present. Verse 16 says, it is a talent to hear me. What? You talented, brother. Hey, Selah, you talented, homie. Hey, big bro Fritz, you talented. He said, it's a talent to hear me. The gang got talent. I bestowed it upon all the living. It is seated in the soul. Really, he said, everybody got it. But by cultivation, it grows. Yeah, it becomes mighty above all other talents. By its culture, man attaineth to all possibilities. Nothing is impossible when you can hear the voice of the Creator in all things. He said, for so I created him. Let me read that again. Verse 16. It is a talent to hear me. I bestowed it upon all the living. It is seated in the soul. By cultivation, it groweth. Yeah, it becometh mighty above all other talents. And by its culture, man attaineth to all possibilities. For so I created him. Creator said, when my voice is weak because of darkness of man, he calls me conscience. Uh-oh. Or setteth me aside as a faint impression. So the darkness of man causes us to say, oh, that's my conscience that I'm hearing. But technically, it's Jaja. But your darkness brings Jaja's light down to the idea of just conscience or a faint impression in the back of your mind. But truly, that's the darkness of man that dims that light down to that ideology. It's truly the Creator, right? Verse 20. But with culture, let me read verse 19 again. When my voice is weak because of the darkness of man, he calls me conscience. Setteth me aside as a faint impression. But with culture, behold, my voice cometh to man with words and with power, and he knoweth me, and is mighty in good works and wisdom. And he becometh a proof before the world that my voice is with him. Jehovah said, whoso hath not heard me is in darkness indeed, boy. And you ain't heard Jah speak. You ain't heard him. You in deep darkness. His voice goes to the very soul of all his creation. He speaks to the soul of all he created. So if you are in a position where you can't receive life from Jah, boy, it said you in darkness indeed. He hath not yet turned his thoughts inward to purify himself and seek wisdom. You just ain't got there yet. You got to get to that level where you can turn yourself inward, purify yourself, and seek wisdom. Whoso hath heard me, though, right, knows it. And all the world cannot convince him on the contrary. So once you heard Jah voice, man, it ain't no mistaking. If you know you done heard Jah voice, spin a vortex in the chat if you got access to it. If you on your phone, spin a vortex in the chat. If you know you heard Jah speak to you, it ain't no question. Can't nobody convince you otherwise. You know that to do good to your neighbor is Jah speaking to you. It's his inspiration upon you. So let's jump over. That was the book of Jehovah's Kingdom on Earth, chapter 21. Now I'm going to slide over to the book of Inspiration, chapter 8, and read down through this. Appreciate y'all kicking it with your little brother, man. I'm just in here vibing with the fam bam, you dig? Just chilling out for a second. Finna get over here to this book of Inspiration, chapter 8. You dig? Y'all like, share, and subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm talking about. I be trying to pop up every now and then more consistently. I done upgraded my my StreamYard account, so you know, once I get my laptop cracking off, man, I'm gonna be dropping a lot more videos, and I'm gonna be sharing, improving, showing, improving. You know, visually, facts and figures and axioms well known. You dig? So yeah, y'all like, share, subscribe, thumb up the video, all that good stuff. Salute to the Creator Gang in the building, man. My big brother Fritz Froxwell. Thanks for the vortexes. Selah Shalom in the building. That's the man that brought this whole OSP to the YouTube streets from Jump Street. Y'all go like, share, subscribe. Selah Shalom TV, OSP Bible. Jump in and check it out, Joe. We about to get in it right now. Let's keep cooking. Creator Gang gonna keep cooking, man. This shit ain't finna stop no time soon. All right, let's get it. Book of Inspiration, OYSP. Book of Inspiration, chapter 8. Jah say, although all inspiration goeth forth from me to all the living directly, yet I also created man susceptible to indirect inspiration from all my creations. Whatsoever receiveth from me direct is in harmony with me. Jah say, the lily and the roses I created perfect in their order. The female bird I inspired to build her nest in season, perfect in her order. Even so it is with all my created beings, save man. Yet all the rest err not in the order I made them, and they all fulfill the glory for which I made them. But because I made man capacitated to receive inspiration from all things, he manifests both evil and good, according to his birth and surroundings, right? His genetics and his environment. So is man good or bad? Nevertheless, I created man with capacity to comprehend this also, for I designed him from the first to work his way up to the Godhead, understanding all below him. And I sent my angels to man, teaching him how to distinguish the difference in the inspirations upon him, that he might govern himself accordingly, right? So Jah say, my voice is with all my created beings. It's with all men. I sent my angels also to inspire men and teach him how to discern and distinguish my voice. So the title of the lesson today, or the conversation today, is of the voice of the Creator. So we're trying to differentiate or pinpoint the creator's voice. First of all, we're gonna get to the into it even deeper in a second, but when we get to the book of Jehovah, but his voice is clear when you are being lifted upward by whatever is inspiring you. So like we already read that in the book of Jehovah's Kingdom. When you hear something or read something or see something that lifts you up in spirit, makes you feel jubilant or joyful or at peace, that's all coming from Jaja's voice, for one. That is the voice of the creator coming to you. Very simply understood in the WASP. I love it. All right, so now let's look into this part right here. It says, I send my angels to man, teaching him how to distinguish the difference in the inspirations that come upon him, that he might govern himself accordingly. And my angel said to man, thou one, become thou one with thy creator. These are his direct inspirations. So we're going to tell you. The angel said, look, we're going to just tell you, little bro. These are the direct inspirations coming from thy creator. He said, to give delights. I mean, he said, wait, first thing is to love thy creator above all else and thy neighbor as thyself. Easy work. Love creator above all else, for he is the life giver of all things. He's ever present in all places, doing by virtue of his presence, giving life to everything. You got to love the creator above all else. The goodness that you feel, the smile, the happiness that you feel, the liberty that you have, it all comes from Jah. So that's number one. We're going to love him above everything. And then my brother that was made next to me, I'm going to love him just like I love myself. He is in the image of the creator as well, right? First two things, they asked Jesus that too. What's the greatest commandments? He said to love the creator above all and love your neighbor as yourself. Those are the two greatest commandments. It's right here in the Osby, coming from the same, with the same light. Yeshua wasn't lying. You know what I mean? So, and then the second thing is, hold on, it's a train coming by, y'all. Let me let this train go by real quick. Yeah. Peace to the Bronze Yogi reporting the building, my big brother, man. Y'all go like, share, subscribe over there. You know, I'm talking about that boy bringing that major information in this Kosmonian era, man. And he dropping them beats heavy, dropping that hip hop, that true hip hop. Let's get it, man. Yeah. So we back over here of the voice of Jehovah. The first thing he said, his direct inspiration was to man and angels is to love your creator above all else. And then you love your neighbor as yourself. And then you strive to give delights only and never pain. We ain't read nothing evil in the WASPy yet. Just so y'all know, that ain't nothing wrong with what we just read right there. To give delights only and never pain. That inspiration is coming directly from Jaja, the creator, the source, the life giver, the God maker, himself or itself, right? However you sense it, masculine or feminine. But the third thing he said directly from him is to not kill. Whenever you're inspired to not take a life or to promote life, that inspiration coming directly from the creator. To do not violently against his creatures. Easy work. We're not out here promoting the murder of his animals like the God of Israel did so many thousands of years ago today and still inspiring niggas today to sacrifice animals for your sin. No, we're not doing no violence to Jaja's creatures. That's not what it is. But that inspiration to not do violently is coming from Jaja directly. To be considerate of another's liberty and the liberty of all the living. Let a man be who he is in Jaja. You ain't over here to be a ruler over nobody. Let men be free. We not about no slavery and putting men into bondage to this and that. Nah, let him be one with his creator and learn with Jaja through his experiences, right? Let that man grow in peace with his creator. We're not over here trying to be a ruler or a judge over men. See that? So to consider the liberty, be considerate of a man's liberty, his freedom to choose and to express himself the way he wants to. You may not agree with everything he do, that's fine. But to be considerate of his liberty, though, that's coming from Jaja directly. To interdict not the happiness and hope of others. To interdict not. Don't interdict the happiness of another or the hopes of another unless you can return a transcending glory and hope in place thereof. You know what I'm saying? That's coming directly from Creator. So how do we know his voice? These are easily understood things for you to discern when you're being inspired by the ever-present Great Spirit, right? These are his direct inspirations. This is coming from the Book of Inspiration in Owaspy, chapter 8. Book of Inspiration, chapter 8 says, I'm going to read this one more time, and I'm going to go down to the inspirations that's coming from Satan. All right, so verse 8 says, and my angel said to man, be thou one with thy creator. These are his direct inspirations. To love thy creator above all else, and thy neighbor as thyself. To give delights only and not pain. To not kill. To do not violently against his creatures. To be considerate of the living of all, the liberty of all the living. And to interdict not the happiness of others and hope of others, only where thou can return a transcendent glory, something better in a hope in place thereof, right? That's all coming from Jaja Direct. But these are the evil inspirations, oh man. These come from thy birth and surroundings, formerly called Satan. These are the inspirations from Satan to kill, to slander, to punish. This ain't none of that coming from the voice of the Creator. To destroy Jaja's created beings. You talking about you was slaughtering animals? Israel, y'all was slaughtering animals for years under a false god. Talking about that was the Creator. No, his inspiration is not to kill. But Satan say kill, slander, punish, right? Destroy Jehovah's created beings, to strive for thyself above another, to gratify thy flesh at the expense of purity or wisdom. That's coming from Satan, right? To be false to Jehovah, to be false to yourself, to lie to yourself, to speak falsely at all. What we out here lying for? That's not coming from Jaja. Jaja say be, and when you strive to walk in the truth of all things and find the right, that's his voice. His voice is the truth, the facts of the thing. That is his voice, right? So we ain't striving to be in the false realms of falsity and deception and lies. No, that's coming from Satan. That's a direct inspiration from Satan. To covet another's wife or his, like the Bible say, covet another's property or whatever, to just want somebody else's stuff, that's low vibratory, coming from Satan. To cohabitate in the gestative period. A lot of us didn't know that. Making love when your wife is pregnant or on her, her rag, that's coming from Satan. And then the last thing in this particular chapter, in Inspiration chapter 8, is to engage in strife or to aid and abet in conflict. So you out here instigating wars and conflicts and strife between your brothers in the hood and your sisters in the streets. You over here instigating. That's all coming from Satan. That inspiration is coming from Satan, to engage in strife or to aid and abet conflicts, which are the fruit of carnivorous food transmitted at birth. So, that's deep right there. We didn't even know that a person can be a carnivorous eater, right? And then that diet, when that child is born from that person eating that way, it results in them embedding wars and engaging in strife and being aggressive and confrontational. All that energy comes from the way that you eating, and it's transmitted to your child at birth. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. A lot of people I never understood that. till I read Oasby. But we can see that scientifically too in genetics. You not only do you pass on traits of behavior, but you pass on defects to your children too based on your diet. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's another thing. So we listening to how we hear the voice of the creator, the voice of Jehovah, you know, is anything that lifts you upward, right? His direct inspiration coming is to love him above all else, love your neighbor as yourself, to only give delights to people, to always be delightful, man. And when you start to actually practice that on a daily basis, you start to see how much peace your life it brings to your life for real. Like you start making people smile every day on purpose and trying to be a pleasant energy or just being holding space with people and allowing them to be who they are in liberty with the creator, man. It opens up space for people to really, just be in love and peace and be feel accepted, you know what I'm saying, have a brotherhood with people. That's a very important thing. All right, so I read the inspiration. Now I'm gonna go to the first book of Oaspi, the book of Jehovah, since we're dealing with the voice of the creator. Like I said, I wasn't gonna hold y'all long. I was just kind of dealing with this on my own. So I was like, well, let me hop on and share with everybody else what I'm studying. So I love it though. I love it so much because the Oasi brings so much clarity, man. It makes stuff simple. Like I said, in the first part of this study or lesson or read, we looked at the book of Jehovah's kingdom on earth in Oaspi. And chapter 21 says that uh the voice of Jehovah is with all men, right? All women, everybody on earth. And then whoever is admonished against wrongdoing has already heard Jehovah. You already know his voice. If you already want to stand for righteousness, you already rock. You already can hear his voice. It's not hard. You see what I'm saying? But the men of darkness, the world's people, they mock against the voice of the Creator. Like this conversation we having right now would be a mockery to them. You know, um, but to us, we love to hear the Creator's voice, and He said, "I'm sufficient." No matter whatever these mealy mouth mockers is talking about, Jaja's sufficient for us. He's enough. He's not. He speaks to the ants. You hear what I'm saying? He speaks to the bees and the birds. The spiders obey him. They do everything he says. We the only ones that want to blot out the voice of the Creator and find in our own selfishness and greed and darkness. Everything else follows the Creator's voice. So now let me go over here to the book of Jehovah and just read, because this is one of the hardest hardest verses I ever read in my life, man. On my mama, I ain't never lied about that. This is what he said about his voice in chapter 1. I hope y'all getting some understanding out there too, man. I don't want to just be up here just reading and people ain't getting no understanding. So if y'all understand that the Creator's voice is in all places, right? And he speaks to the soul of all of his created beings. Drop a 1 in the chat if you understand that on the 1. Great Spirit. Jaja said, my voice is with all men. I speak to all my created beings, to the soul of all things, from all sides, right? He said, my direct inspiration is to love your neighbor as yourself, love me above all else, only be delightful, never give pain, right? He said, not to kill nothing, don't do no violence to none of his created beings. We ain't read nothing evil in Oaspi yet. Niggas want to bring up, oh, it's written by a dentist. I don't care. What's the information say? Can we actually read it? Because what I've read so far today ain't been nothing evil, wicked. Only expressing and explaining how practically we can hear the Creator's voice. That's what Oaspi is here to do, to help us understand the spiritual world practically and the Great Spirit indeed, right? And the way that he speaks to us. He's telling us right here, anything that lifts you upward. I don't care if you see it, if you read it, if you hear it, if it's lifting you up to do good, that's coming from me. That's my voice. How much crystal clearer can you get? You know what I'm saying? He made that, and then he went on and said, I also sent my angels to men to help them understand me and teach them my direct inspiration. Directly, when I'm speaking to you, directly, right? Whenever you inspired not to kill nothing and all that, all that goodness, man, it's too much life. So let me get to this part right here. Book of Jehovah, chapter 1. All was, all is, all ever shall be. The all spake. What? We talking about his voice. How to hear the voice of the creator of the voice of Jehovah. The all spake or spoke, and motion was, and is, and ever shall be. So dealing with the voice of Jehovah, first and foremost, again, all motion, everything you see in motion, that's Jehovah's voice. He speaks, man. That's too cold blooded right there. All the stars moving, all of the galaxies spinning, all of the worlds and every place in the cosmos is the result of the Creator's all-powerful, omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient voice. That's cold. That's the first verse in Oaspi, by the way. All was, all is, all ever shall be. The all spoke, and motion was, and is, and ever shall be. All motion is his voice. All right, let me keep going. And being positive was called he and him. The all motion was his speech. That's all I wanted to show. I just want to come on here for a little bit and just show that the Creator's voice has been always near to us, as near as it was to the ancients. It is with us right now today. It ain't far away, and he's not trying to confuse you or put you in fear, no type of way. He said anything that lifts you upward is coming from me. Anything that you see, read, hear that lifts you up is my voice. That's easy work, right? So I want to just bring that out. You know what I'm saying? I want to keep y'all along. I might dive into one more little verse right here too. Hold on real quick. If y'all getting a little bit of understanding, man, drop a vortex for the Creator's light directly to your soul. Everything comes to you directly, indirectly from me, but directly from Creator, right? Yeah, man, we just cooking a little bit about how to hear the voice of the Creator. That's all. It's real simple, man. To love the Creator above all else, thy neighbor as yourself, give delights only, not pain. Don't kill nobody. Don't do violence to none of his creatures. Be considerate of all the living. Don't take nobody's happiness away or hope away unless you can give them something better, right? Those are direct inspirations from Jaja. That's easy. And we know the devil. We know the low inspiration too, to kill, to slander, to punish. Right? Destroying Jehovah's created beings and striving for yourself above another, gratifying your flesh above purity and wisdom. That's all coming from the devil. To be false to Jehovah, to be false to yourself, to speak falsely at all. Come on, man. Just be real. Be real with yourself. Be real with everybody else. You don't need to take nothing from nobody and be covetous. That's all coming from the devil, yo. So we learning, or from Satan, the surroundings formerly called Satan, right? We ain't about no war and conflict. So yeah. Don't let nobody tell you that this book of Oaspi is an evil, twisted book written by a dentist that was deranged, man. That's crazy. Everything in here is on the one. We ain't read nothing evil today, right? If I read something evil, y'all can clip this video at that point in section where I read something evil out the Oaspi Bible, and then we can talk about it. But so far, we learned today, at least I got some understanding. I hope that those listening, both angels and mortals in this, got some understanding to keep doing their best and walking in the ever presence of Jehovah, hearing his voice directly. being inspired to do good for your neighbors and do good for yourself every day, man. That's what it's all about. Let me check the chat, see where everybody at. Bronze Yogi was in the building. Bless up. Peace to my bro, man. I'm about to let y'all go, bro. I just wanted to, come on here and just vibe for a second. I ain't been on live in a minute. My last couple lives been messing up. So, but yeah, peace, fam. Y'all go like, share, subscribe at the Bronze Yogi Report. He be dropping bombs, man, on information concerning Kosmonian life. Yeah. Bless up. My big bro, Fritz Foxwell. Appreciate you coming through, my bro. I'm going to start coming on live more often, man. I want to build this channel up a little bit more. I want to help, keep spreading more light with this because I don't really got too many people to talk to. I'm so grateful for the Creator Gang. Shout out to everybody in the Creator Gang, man. Much love, much peace, much light to y'all. Salute to Selah Shalom, man. Thanks for coming through too, big bro. It's all love and light to the big brother, man. Salute to the God. Big up yourself. You already know what it is. You already know what it is. Creator is undefeated. Anybody and everybody else came through? Oh, my big sister Tikva in the building. I didn't even know she was in the building. Creator is unstoppable, sis. You already know what it is. Yeah, CGG. Peace, love, and light to the fam bam. Man, I can't wait to get my laptop, yo, because we finna get this little channel cracking. I got my little upgrade to the my StreamYard upgrade. So yeah, we about to have fun, man. Creator is undefeated, yo. His voice is with all his people. His voice is with all men. You know what I'm saying? And he speaks to you directly, to your soul, to the soul of all creatures. Guess what? The bees hear him, the ants hear him, the geese hear him and know when to fly south for the seasons changing. You see that? It's so much. The Creator's voice is the very motion of all creation. So I just my mind be boggled, man, how simple he made it to hear him. There was a point in time where I felt like God was far from me. You know what I'm talking about? Creator was far from me and he didn't hear me, and I didn't know how I could hear him, but now it's so simple. He made it so simple to understand, like, yo, bro, whenever you hear me, something lifting you up, that's coming from me. Whenever you hear a fact or a figure or axiom well known, right? Everything that's solid, that's truth, that is my voice. Man, when that started to click to me, I was like, oh, praises. That shit makes sense now. And I think I was already gonna get to that level even without OSP, but OSP just happened to make it so clear, and then all the other stuff that comes with the knowledge of the history of the higher heavens. We already know the history of the earth. Now we got the history of the higher heavens. Yes, yeah, exactly, big sis. So simple, even children can conceive this light. It ain't nothing hard. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I sure appreciate y'all coming through. I'm gonna leave y'all with this Book of Esther, chapter 28. It says, 2 things stand prominent before all men, about which there is no need to dispute: light and darkness. Right? You don't need to dispute light and darkness. Light is light, dark is dark. When Jaja speaks to you, it's light. It's gonna be help somebody, do good to somebody, forgive somebody, be patient with your brother, love your sister. That's or love yourself, big up yourself. All that light coming from Jaja, man. That's always Jaja's energy. You can't dispute light and darkness. So y'all walk in the light. Don't be out here complaining and being vengeful, right? Ain't no need to dispute it. No need. We know the difference. We know the vibes. Let Jaja be the only one to move you, and to lift you up, man. Don't let no dark vibes take you down, ever. Keep your light on. I'm gonna let y'all rock on, man. I'm gonna slide up out the way. Y'all do your best today and enjoy Jaja's ever-present virtue in all places as he speaks directly to your soul. Indirectly from me, but direct to your soul from him whenever you get that light turned on. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I'm about to slide up out of here, y'all. Peace to the Creator gang. You dig what I'm saying? Creator is undefeated, man. Y'all, if anybody's still curious about OWASP, go get you an OWASP, man. Y'all, tap into some of this light, yo. Because it really is a benefit to our people. I believe that with all my heart. I know that because it's a benefit to myself. So, yeah, I'm up out of here, man. Let me get this. Yeah. I'm about to slide up out of here. Y'all be easy, man. It's your little brother, Prince Judavon, man. I'll be back on in a little bit. Bless up. I'm out. Peace.